My name is Tan Unique, and I'm a mother of 3 children. And currently, I'm in a drug treatment program. I'm gonna continue to go to school to obtain my GZ, and hopefully do a training and work doing medical assistance, and hopefully I get my apartment back.
My name is Arena Artis. I'm currently a licensed massage therapist. I work part-time at a couple of spas. I thought I was going to be a regular 9-to-5 girl, suit, heels, the whole deal. But that is so not how life turned out for me.
My name is Latoya J. Boyd Flowers. I sing. I'm a Christian rock pop artist. I want to live the American dream. I want to be able to take advantage of everything that this country offers. I don't want to be an old woman thinking of what I could have done in life. I want to push myself to the furthest limit I can push it.
The problem we have today is that there are millions of Americans who, despite trying, just somehow don't seem to be able to improve their economic situation. We've got to figure out why that happens so that we can help the people who are really stuck at the bottom.
My mom, she always worked, so I was always with my grandmother and my aunts and them. I see my mother as being a strong black woman because she tried to make it happen for me.
As a teen mom, I went through a training, got a job doing home health aid. So at the time, it was just me and Tan Unique. So I worked, had somebody to keep Tan Unique, pick her up from school, till I got home.
And I was with my mother. Like, she raised me, but she always worked, and I was with my grandmother.
Well, my mother, she didn't really watched Tan Unique. She was just, Tan Unique was in the house.
I felt like a black sheep. Like, my aunts, they always got everything, and it was like I was just there. Like,
No, it wasn't really no one there just for her.
I grew up with my mom and my older brother, Terry, in New York. My brother is 12 years older than I am, but we're so close. It's weird.
I remember taking her out. It was funny because I had to do her hair. So if you see pictures of her when she was little with her hair up in a bun and a lot of grease in it, that was mine. I used to take her to the basketball courts with me. I have to take her literally everywhere with me. I remember picking her up from kindergarten when she was 4 or 5 years old every day, taking her to school. I practically raised that little girl.
I remember my mom telling me that a story. I was like 2 years old. I had my little backpack, and I was following Terry, my big brother, and I was like, I'm going to school like Terry. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, I'm going.
We knew she was going to go far. So in order for her to go far, I took it upon myself to make sure that nothing ever happened to her.
Growing up with my mom was pretty difficult because she was on drugs. She didn't really take us out to the park a lot. We'd go outside alone. I was the oldest, so I was in charge. I'd cook dinner a lot of times.
We always look up to Toya or whatever, because Toya, like, when my mother wasn't there, she ran the whole household or whatever. And I'm saying she ran the whole household. We listened to Toya like she was a mother.
I don't know how to be a parent. I never did. I got pregnant at 15. I tried to be a parent and to love my children, but being that the addiction played a role in my life, I couldn't be a responsible parent. I was there physically for a little while and mentally for a little while. I was stable, but not for very long.
I went to elementary school at PS 156. At that point, KIPP had only had 2 classes, so they were in the same building as us. And towards the end of the year, some of the teachers went around classroom to 4th grade classes and just basically gave a spiel about, hey, this is what KIPP is, and this is, you know, the education that you'll have. And, you know, I was like, that sounds kind of interesting, so why not? And I kind of raised my hand and I looked around, and some of my closest friends were also raising their hands, so that also made it a lot easier. And they bribed us with McDonald's. And I remember bringing that information home and telling my mom that, you know, this is something that I was interested in. And the teachers called my mom and wanted to set up a sit down. So they were going to come to the house, but we were living with my grandmother at the time. There was no space for anyone to come over. We felt better going to the school and sitting down with them and talking to the office. So I remember sitting down that first day, meeting Mr. Levin and talking with my mom, and we signed this contract. And it was basically saying that I would uphold, you know, all these things that they said that I would do. I'll do my homework, I'll listen to my teachers, I'll be respectful, and I signed. And my mom also had a commitment that she had to sign, and says that, you know, I'll support her and make sure that she's doing the homework. So that kind of helped parents, and including my mom, feel a lot more comfortable, and she signed her portion. And Mr. Levin signed his portion that he would uphold, and he would educate us, and he would help us get to where we needed to be. So that's how it started.
On the Easter Sunday, I took Latoya to church, and that was her beginning far as her Christianity life. She was probably about 8 or 9 years old at this time, between 9 and 10 rather. And when I took her there, as something just happened, she was just so inspired by the service that she continued going. She used to wake up on Sunday mornings and ask me could she walk to the church. The church was on the corner, so I felt safe with her going there, and she would go there faithfully every Sunday.
Pretty much that's what I was known for, being the girl who comes to church on her own and loves God and doesn't really have, you know, family that love God like that. And my mother came to the church a few times, but could count it on one hand.
I knew that Latoya was very unhappy in the home. The reason why I know is because a woman from the church called me one day and had Latoya with her because Latoya had ran away from home. And I didn't know Latoya ran away from home. I know it was taking her a while to get home, but before I got the chance to go look for her, I already had received a phone call, and the lady brought her home to me.
After that experience, I was very sad, but I was even more angry because my mom had not known that I ran away, and I was trying to get some emotion out of her.
I was in domestic violent relationships, which played a big part in my life, and it caused a lot of harm towards Latoya. There were times that I could not take Latoya to school. She had to go to school on her own. There were lots of times that I couldn't go to her plays, her shows that really hurted her very deeply because I was injured, and I wasn't able to be able to walk out the door because of my injuries. And I don't think she knew that because my left eye was injured when I was a young girl, so I lost my vision in the left eye. So when the left eye got swelled up, I was partially handicapped. So I had to have Latoya help me do a lot of things. But being that she was so young, I still didn't think she would understand that if I told her, you know, that's the reason why. I just had her to do certain things to help me, and she had to help me in a lot of areas.
But my mother had to think about, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and she was consistent with this. We always stayed in the bedroom. We watched TV in the bedroom, we played in the bedroom, and she slept in the living room.
But I didn't know they used to creep out and watch me. And today Latoya shows me how I used to dance in the living room when I had company, and I didn't know she was watching me, and she could shake it. Something there. So she was really watching, and I didn't know they was creeping watching, you know. So I really thought that I had everybody fooled, but I was really fooling myself. So the kids saw what I was doing.
She would keep the cocaine in aluminum foil, small sheet of aluminum foil. And she would go to the calendar in our kitchen, and her back would face the doorway. And she would always have that piece of aluminum foil with her when she went to the calendar. As I became an adult, I told her, I said, Mom, you were using the cocaine and aluminum foil, weren't you, when you went to the calendar? And she was very, very shocked. I didn't actually see her sniff it, but I knew what she was doing when she went to that particular area of the house with that foil. So I've never seen her snort it, but I knew that that's what she was doing. But I have seen her smoke a joint, and I've seen her drink. We used to have old E bottles, old English, we call it old E in the hood, but old English bottles lined up 40 ounces in our hallway. So I knew that she drank. That was something that we always saw.
I had to keep them in the room for 2 reasons, because of my drinking and smoking marijuana and because of my boyfriend. And I thought I was protecting them, keeping them safe that way.
I mean, there was a lot of domestic violence. She had different boyfriends constantly.
One boyfriend, he was standing by my TV. It was a floor model color TV. I was sitting on my, I was laying across the couch. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that must have been, had to been God. It was an inner voice in me that told me to sit up. And when I sat up, because he was talking, everything was okay, and he was by the TV rolling a Wooler. And he was talking to me, and then he started beating his chest. And the next thing I know, he had a pair of Timberland boots, and he just kicked me right in my eye.
This particular time, he had beat her so bad that both of her eyes were black. He split the side of her mouth to where it was lacerated or cut. I don't think he used an instrument or a knife or anything, but I think from him hitting her, it cut her mouth.
And then he called the police on himself, and they arrested him for attempt murder. It was attempt murder because the police officer said if I would have been laying down, I would have been dead. And they wanted to take me to the hospital. I said, I don't have nobody for the kids. So they took him to jail, and they came back that morning and got me and took me to Lincoln Hospital. They had to pry my eye open with some kind of tool by my eyelash, which was even more painful, to get my eyeball to fall back into its right place because my eyeball wasn't there.
We had like what I like to call a Kodak moment. At the kitchen table, and my mom, she promised us basically that she would never let anyone come in and hurt her or us again.
I talked to his mother on the phone, and she gave me the guilt trip, and I felt really bad because he had an attempt murder charge, and that means he was going to do a lot of time in jail, and I dropped the charges, and when I dropped the charges, he came to my house and whooped my ass again, just for him going to jail. And I continuously got ass whooping after ass whooping after ass whooping because of him going to jail. And I kept letting him in, letting him in, letting him in.
Well, a guy I know came up to me and asked me if I wanted to make some money. And I said, sure, why not? And he gave me the bags, and I was out selling because I wanted more clothes and stuff.
When Tayunique first dealing with the drugs, I'm talking about like selling, she was like 14.
When I was in middle school, a lot of us were raised by single moms. I was fortunate enough to see my aunt and uncle together. It's good to be able to see that. And sometimes if you don't see it, you don't value it. And you don't, because if you see it, you aspire to it.
I think the reason Raina took a different path is because I was there for her.
You know, sometimes I'd be walking down the street with my brother, and he would point things out to me, you know, people being really argumentative in the street, or a woman pregnant at a really young age, and he would tell me not to be like that.
I said, Raina, I don't want you ever acting like that. If I see you acting like that outside, I'm going to smack the shit out of you. If I hear you cursing and acting like some chicken head around the block, I'm going to fuck you up. You don't got to worry about nobody else hitting. I'm going to hit you.